Welcome back to the Blurb Breakdown with Taylor and Megan, where we break down and dive into the book blurbs, the good, the bad, and the cringeworthy.
Fair warning. This podcast is rated R for mature content, strong language, and spicy discussions. If you're not ready for swoon-worthy scenes, steam, and unfiltered bookish opinions, proceed with caution. Otherwise, grab a drink and join us.
Hey, I'm Taylor.
I'm Megan, and we are coming back with part 3 of Daughter of Destiny by Rebecca Parcha. Make sure you go back and watch part 1 and 2 so that you can get the full aspect of what we're talking about. Don't want you to be confused. Don't want to spoil anything before you get to this part, so definitely go back and watch those two. But we're just going to dive right back in.
Yes, so after the trial, we know that Aether is summoned by Enzo, the head seat of the Shadow tribe.
Yep.
And so we're like, okay, he just got summoned after putting the whole black cloud over the arena.
Yes. Is he in trouble?
and then the only thing is like we go to Chance's chapter. So then it's like Enzo summons Aether. Boom. Next chapter. We're gonna flip.
And we don't
Chance.
find out immediately what happens.
So I'm like, ah.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Yes. Okay, so then I'm like, whatever. So we'll just go to Chance. And then, so I was like, wait. So President Dale is saying that he actually had heard that the fern was making seedlings in these winged creatures. So they started to in the Glen so that they could basically protect themselves in the war. And then he tells Chance that Chance is the Glen's last hope.
Right. Because obviously President Dale couldn't, sit there and handle these seethings to be their controller to the extent that he needed to be.
Right.
And we know that Chance's mom was Faye, so that automatically gave him more power, which would explain why Chance can do it better than his dad.
Yeah, and it's like, so we do find out like President Dale, Colin Dale, did not even give a crap about Chance's mom. It was literally for the power from a Fae.
Right. He got what he wanted, and that was that.
Yeah, and now that dark magic hit Chance, it's like bringing out all these like powers. I mean, my opinion is they've probably changed them. I mean, adding that dark matter, they probably wouldn't have been what they are without the darkness, but
right.
Who knows?
After we get Chance's point of view, we go into Tate's point of view, where she's going into her like post-review following this trial that she had, and it's with Arethi because, in case you didn't remember, she's like the ruling one at this point. But she takes her into this room. She tricks her into sitting in this chair, and the chair has runes in it, and all of Tate's power is gone. Like it suppresses it entirely. So she can't reach Aether. She can't use any of her magic, any of her powers. And Arethi is basically interrogating her, trying to get answers out of her.
Yes, Arethi is like interrogating Tate, and we basically find out that Arethi knows that Tate is royal, and basically confirms to Arethi that chair belongs to the Blush tribe, which is, we find out, is what Tate's is with the pink, and it lit up pink. So she got her confirmation. Tate's royal. And so Tate's like, I gotta get out of here. So she gets out of there. And
she's got an even bigger target on her back now that Arethi has confirmed it, that she is who she says. And of course, nobody wants to give over their powers, so now they're after her.
Yep. Again, we're back to the theme of power. All about power.
Yes.
We all know that power can drive somebody to do crazy things. Not that it's acceptable, but people do
Yep.
it.
Money and power. Absolutely.
Yes. Then we jump back to Aether's point of view, and he's actually talking with Enzo, which we find a lot of information in this chapter. With
Yes.
Enzo also seems to know a lot about Tate
Mm-hmm.
and being royal, and basically tells Aether that they need to leave, and they need to leave tonight. Like, he needs to let Arethy do her interrogation, but then they need to leave.
Right. Yeah, he is obviously Aether is his nephew, so he's going to try to protect him at all costs. But he also realizes that the bond that him and Tate that Aether and Tate share is something like unbreakable. And he's like, you need to protect yourself, you need to protect your bonded. She's the lost heir to the throne, so she really needs to be protected. Um so that's exactly what he does. He takes her
Yep.
and he goes through a portal to her palace.
Yeah, almost. Enzo basically says to let Judah go get Tate,
Oh,
and
that's right.
we also find out that Enzo knew Esme, who is Tate's biological mother,
Mm-hmm.
and we find out that this was 70 years ago.
So
So,
long time.
and Tate's like what,
20, I
20?
think. Yeah, 20 or 21.
So obviously they did something there. And then we've got the prophecy, which Aether is
Yes.
still completely in denial. It
Says it's
makes him
bullshit.
angry.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, basically he's like, no, this is some BS. It's bullshit. Don't listen to it.
Yeah.
So Enzo gives like an envelope, and it has like a journal. It has the necklace amulet for Tate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
There was something there that she had to drip her blood on or something to open the portal to get to the palace.
yeah. Oh, yeah. It was the directions.
Okay.
Remember, Enzo's like, you'll know the way just with her drop of blood, a royal drop of
Yes.
blood.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, yeah, it opens up with her.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
So Judah goes to get her, and as soon as she's out of that chair and out of that room, she can start to get her power back. And she reaches out to Aether, and Judah's trying to get her out of there, and they're attacked by the guards.
Yeah, they get shot at by a sniper.
Yeah. What is up with that? Like, she barely got her confirmation. She's already got a hit out on her.
Right, and then they ended up stating that they were all brown so that you wouldn't know which of the tribes they were from
Right.
that were attacking.
Yeah. That's kind
So,
of messed up.
for sure, like what is going on, and how is it so fast? Because she was just
Right.
being interrogated, and then Judah's like taking her and moving her, and
Like, Arethy didn't even leave the room, did she?
not that we knew of.
So I wonder if Arethy has some sort of bond like Tate and Aether where she can telepathically talk to somebody.
Oh, that would make sense. Or yeah, or
Interesting.
somebody. She definitely got somebody. She's got people
Yeah.
working with her.
Yeah.
But they do end up getting Tate to the safe room,
Thank God.
with Tate using her shield with
Mm-hmm.
Judah and being able to walk and move with it, which is
Yes.
apparently like a really strong ability, especially for someone who's just learning how to shield and not in the
Right.
lunar tribe.
Yeah. That
Um
that was cool that she was able to protect the two of them to get them out of there.
she doesn't really care so much for Tate. She's kind of does little jabs at her and is like
Yeah.
snarky.
Yeah, you can definitely tell. And I don't think she likes Aether too much either.
Yeah,
Just
it's like I
in their
can't get a good vibe on
communication.
that.
Yeah, in her communication with him and the way that she talks to him, and like you said, snarky comments toward him as well. I'm just like, what is her beef?
She wants the chair.
Oh,
But I did
yeah.
put a side note. So through all of that, um, Tate definitely still sends a fun little image down the bond. She does this quite a bit. I'm pretty
Love
sure it's
it.
a coping mechanism for her.
Yeah.
But in the
Yeah.
most serious moment, she sends Aether the most sexual um images
Like, hey, I'm
of
still
them.
here. Let me
Oh, hey,
distract
we're gonna do
you.
this later. Yeah.
Right, right. Oh, I love that. I love their relationship so much.
Oh my gosh. They were what kept me like reading this book and not wanting to put it down, and then I'd have to go to work and I'm like, I don't want to go to work. I want to read this book.
Put me back in their world.
Yeah, basically. So I'm like, gosh, full-time job, are we done? So we can like go read more Tate and Aether?
Is it 4 o'clock yet? It's 4 o'clock somewhere, Taylor. Okay.
Right? Always somewhere.
Oh, that's funny.
Then we go back to Chance's point of view, and now he's just feeling justified. His dad said he's the last hope. So he's actually starting to do the trainings that dad's encouraging and the doctor's encouraging, like sucking the souls or the life or the magic, I guess, out of the
Yeah.
seethings.
The
Officially declares Tate a traitor.
the way they made it sound was that um he was sucking the magic out, but then there was nothing left of them. They were like crumpled little beings on the floor.
Right, yeah. Like just poof, like dusty, like
You're done.
yeah, just completely drains the full life force
Yeah.
out of these things. Or really he can anybody. All the ones that have the power, he can
Right.
drain any of them.
Yes. Yeah.
So, you know, he's learning control. He's trying to control it. Shay like teases him that, you know, he's like the savior. But then she drops a note, a letter that she got from Tate.
Mm-hmm.
And Chance about loses his gosh darn mind, starts to see red, like, because his mind, she's a traitor.
Right.
Traitor, hurt him, everything. And then the buzzer goes off, headquarters are under attack, end scene.
End scene. Yeah, that I feel like that was a good turning point for him, for like in his point of view. Um and like moving through the book, we get that final battle happening from both of their points of view. Well, three: Tate, Aether, and Chance. And it's almost like three different battles, because they're all, until they come head to head with each other, it's like they're fighting a different battle, each of them separately, and not really in the same battle. So that's
Right.
exciting.
No, absolutely. I love that we got Aether's point of view. I know I said that in one of the earlier episodes, but it was just so nice to get his
It
like
is.
thoughts.
Yeah.
Man, I love getting both sides of their points of views. It's great.
I'm curious to know if we'll get all three points of view in book 3 then.
That'll be interesting.
I'm curious though, because like, what is there left for Chance? You
Well,
know?
so like when we get to the big end battle,
Yeah, yeah.
towards the very very end, like I fully believe Chance is going to be. We still have Aretha. Okay, don't get me wrong. Like she's still big bad, but at least for now, I think Chance is going to be that like the bad, the big enemy, and then you've got like the big bad in the background that is
Yeah.
like the overall. That's what I'm seeing from this.
Okay.
I who knows?
I can see
I
that.
don't. Rebecca knows, but I sure don't.
I can see that. I can definitely see that. So after his point of view, we jump into Tate, and now we are going to her safe place, which we didn't know at this point what it was, but it is her palace where she was born, where
Yeah.
she grew up for the first few years of her life. Or yeah, it was the first couple
Yes.
years. Okay.
Yeah. It was pretty emotional with them walking through all of that.
You could feel it, and she knew
Yeah.
immediately when she walked in the house, this is mine. Like the home
Yeah.
responded to her.
Yes, yeah. I responded to her and basically, yeah, welcomed her like this is your home.
Mm-hmm.
And she felt it. She felt like the pull towards everything that the house wanted to basically, like, I would say, show her.
Yes. Yeah, so it led her into what we would call in modern times the master suite, but it was her mom's bedroom.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And like the whole house was pink, but it led her into her mom's bedroom where she saw a portrait of her mother. And immediately she noticed the resemblance.
Mm-hmm.
Because at this point, she still doesn't realize that Irene was not her. She knows, but she doesn't know who is her birth mother. And once she saw this portrait, she like basically kind of has like a, I don't want to say a meltdown, but she like, starts
Mm-hmm.
to get a little bit of anxiety, and she's like, "This is my mother." And Aether tells her, "Yeah, it is." Um, and there was something in there that I highlighted, and it said, "This is the truth. It's within you." As she was like in the house, and it brought back Fletch's final words to her, essentially along the same lines of, "The truth is within you,"
Yes.
and that I think really just brought it back for her. Like, this is where I belong.
Yeah, no, and it's really funny that you say that because, we continue on and then she's getting basically visions while
Mm-hmm.
she's in there,
Yes.
and memories of her birth mom. And what's funny is what I wrote down was I'm gonna probably screw up her name, but follow your truth, Tadiella. Tadella. I'm sorry, I'm butchering the name, but then it also says find the chamber. So I just thought that's kind of interesting that you ended up doing the one right before it, which was like follow your truth in some way, and then I also highlighted the next one of like
Right.
follow your truth. So that's so funny.
It's definitely, reading this for the first time and not knowing what's happening yet.
Hmm.
Um, went back to Fletch, and I was like, these two moments definitely are in this book on purpose. Like, he said what he said because he knew her truth.
Yes,
So that was sweet to have that little piece of Fletch in this book. So I liked that a lot.
me too. And then I was like, what chamber? Follow the chamber.
Right.
And I was like, what chamber?
Right.
And then all of a sudden she goes, Aether, Esme was my mother, and she just sobs and says, Princess Esme of the embassy in Mident was my mother. And
Yes.
she's just sobbing.
It's a lot to process. You just realize that you're truly the heir that everybody's looking
Yeah.
for.
Yeah. And that the mother that you thought was your mom your whole life just confirmed, like, for sure, like, was
Was
not
not.
your birth mom.
That
Yeah.
has got to sink real deep. I could not imagine going your whole life and then realizing.
That sounds like a lot to deal with. And it was just, I mean, these whole chapters are just her going like through the palace, and it's just all very very emotional throughout. Right now it's Tate and Aether. There's no one else around, no one else can get to them, and so she can really try to go through and process her emotions.
Yeah, very much. I did like that time that they had alone for her to be able to do that. Um,
Yeah.
because this is her home. It's her safe place right
Yeah.
now, and until she goes to Maiden, this is where she's going to be.
Yeah. Yep.
So then, um, Aether gives her the um, gifts that Enzo gave him, which is the journal and the locket for Tate. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember, there was a library in there with like books that were supposed to have been destroyed or gone or whatever.
Yeah.
And she doesn't read, she can't read any of them. They're all in a different language. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
And then she's
No,
looking
yeah,
at the
she definitely.
translation books and she's like, I can't even read these.
Yeah, because she also couldn't translate the journal, which, I
Right.
mean, later on down the road, like, we do find out that her blood, because her blood ended up getting on it, and
Yeah.
it basically makes it where she's able to read the
Yeah.
journal. But until then, she is like searching. She's like, I don't understand this language. I can't read it. I can't figure out what language it is.
Oh, the beauty of
Mm,
magic.
right? I love me some fantasy. Love me some magic.
Yeah,
Get me out of this world.
her mom definitely put a lot of thought into setting this life up for her.
And protecting her, yeah.
Yeah. So we talked about this, I think, in one of the earlier episodes, but basically the combination of how to create a shifter. So I wrote it down, and it says the pure fae must mate with a half vampire, half human. A untishi must breed with a full fae if possible, and at least, or at least a halfling of a fae and a vampire. Any other type of combination does not guarantee that you're going to create a shifter, that gene is going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And then basically this becomes it's called the House of Blush Eternal Rule. So basically um, you have to mate with a pure fae. Like if you're an heir, you have to mate with a pure fae for the highest chance of creating a shifting gene. Because if you can shift, that's great. But if your child can't, and let's say their cousin can, they're going to get the throne over over the non-shifter.
Yeah.
So, and then of course, if all of you shift, you can battle it out, and whoever's left
Right.
wins. But
Right.
I thought that was interesting that it's not just your birthright and your birth order, it's whether you have that gene or not.
Right. Which is why they put all those rules in place to do their
Yeah.
best to avoid all the complications.
Yes.
And then we kind of go back with Chance, and at this point, Chance is like full on. All humans are beneath them, and he basically like drains a bunch of humans of power for
Yeah.
this battle that they have at headquarters.
Hmm.
And I'm like, but it does, bitch, like it does.
Yeah.
They matter.
Right. And
Like, they're not beneath you. You're not
yeah.
better than them. You're actually quite worse.
And that's what Tate is trying to protect. You know, those innocent people, the humans, the vamps,
Everybody, yeah.
the vamplings, I think, are the babies, or like the little kids. All
Yeah,
of
like
them.
everybody. Like Tate wants to protect everybody.
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't understand why Chance is like so like blood hungry, bloodthirsty for this.
Yeah,
Ugh.
it's because they're not helping him. Like as much as his father's like trying to pretend that he's teaching him control, he's just teaching him how to utilize the power instead of how to live with it and
Right.
control it in a sense where he's not just draining people.
Right. Yeah, it's
Mm.
very annoying.
Okay, so Aether left for a little bit while Tate is in the library. You know, he's probably just bored. She's been in there a while. She's learning of like the passing of the crowns, the full fae, the halflings, like what you were just talking about.
Yeah.
But then she ends up taking a break, and she ended up like at this lagoon
Hmm.
and goes for a swim. But then like this invisible force starts pulling her under.
So I remember reading that and I was so confused. I'm like, what is happening right now?
Yeah, like she couldn't see anything.
Right. I was confused. I'm like, is something in there? Like, what is going on? Did we ever find out what it was?
No, and all it did is it says come find me. And then so Tate fights to get back up and swim up against the land, but she says she ends up seeing a door
Oh,
down
that's
there.
right. That's right. Is that the
But
door
she
to
couldn't
Mydent?
breathe. I I don't know.
That would be interesting.
I'm curious. Or that has to come back later on. Like, check that. Don't forget that there's a
Okay.
door in there's a door in the lagoon that we don't know where it goes.
Yeah, I mean that could definitely be an option because we know that all the royals have to go to Maiden, and this is the royals' palace. So
Yes.
maybe these hidden
Yes.
doors are stressing me out in all these books we're reading. Okay.
Yeah, you're like, what's behind the hidden door? Number
Uh,
one, number
right.
two.
Right.
Okay, so then we like find out that Aether ends up actually meeting up with James and was trying to get like intel. So he gets
Yeah.
like some intel that the Glen and the Ferns have been attacked and that they both have monsters, which was
Yes.
unknown to them. As much as on Chance's point of view, we get he thinks it's all Tate. They all know everything that's going on,
Right.
and they don't.
No.
They
We're like getting
don't.
bits and pieces. We don't see the full picture.
So James and and his family, which is like Ruby, what's the other kid's name?
Yuli.
Yeah,
I don't remember the little boy's name.
I know. I'm spacing on the name. Poor guy. Sorry. Um, they all go, and then they bring in Vala and Camilla, and Aether tells them who Tate really is,
Mm-hmm.
and they all vow their loyalty to Tate.
Yes.
And they say that Aether needs to give her a choice. He needs to not take the decisions for her, and she needs to be included in these conversations. And then they
Yeah.
get attacked.
They're attacked by the white seedings that Tate faced in the trial. The ones
Yeah.
with the wings, which why are they white? These were new.
Mm-hmm.
And they realize all of them, James, Yuli, Aether, they all realize that they have been betrayed. Um, and by somebody with curly red hair. So what does that mean?
Right. I'm like, there's a few people it could be.
Yeah.
Like, it could have been Aretha, but then I was like, no, because we wouldn't think betrayed.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, okay, we got Vala, but we don't have Jared.
Right. Where's Jared? Where has Jared been through all of this?
Yeah, because I was like, I don't think it was gonna be James, especially with the kids and the
Mm-hmm.
family, and like they say they're like brothers. So I was like, we haven't seen a lot of Jared where we did get him in the first.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling there was that. But then we did have to go away because Aether sensed that Tate was in trouble, which was the lagoon scene where
Yes.
she's getting pulled under. So he basically tells James, you need to take him back. He needs to take him back so he can go to Tate.
Right. And then we switch over to Chance's point of view again, which is very frustrating because like there's so much going on with Tate and
Yeah.
Aether that you just want, like you're hungry for more.
Yeah, nothing bad on you, Rebecca. It's just like we're mad at Chance.
Right.
Just give me more Aether and Tate.
Yes. So Chance is obviously exploring his powers more. He's excited to test them out. His new power stores. Um and he's truly believing that his dad is
Trying to
like
save them.
right, that he's trying to save everybody when in all reality he's just creating this monster. um we know that like in previous chapters and even in Fangs of Fate that Chance is like wants to like please his father. He wants to be
Yeah.
somebody his dad can be proud of, and it's falling even more into these coming chapters that that's
Yeah.
exactly what he's trying to do.
Right, and then they manipulate. So President Dale ends up basically manipulating Chance by giving him like the 12 seedings. End up telling Chance that they're actually Tarragon, and that the white winged creatures are ghouls, and they smell like Tate. They freaking made them smell like Tate to basically piss Chance off even more.
Right. It's
I
kind of
was
fucked up.
like, those fuckers, excuse my language, made them smell like Tate. I was like, are you freaking serious right now?
They know it sets Chance off because right now she's the enemy.
Yeah.
So,
And so then I'm like, okay, remember how we were like, okay, so they're creating these creatures and the more power of the user.
mm-hmm.
And we also know that they did have Tate captured for a while. So
Yeah.
did they use her blood? And is that why they're also so very strong? Because we know that Tate is extremely powerful.
Right. She's one of the most powerful. So that actually does make sense because who was the doctor that took her blood? She wasn't bad, right? Dr. Ferrari, I think was her name.
Oh, I can't remember. I can't remember if she was bad or not. I don't think she was like bad.
Yeah, I don't remember. But even still, she was working with the Untish, which is Arethi, still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, whether or not she was good or not, if this information got back to Arethi, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they all had to give blood every once in a while when
Right.
she was in the Glen. So that's kind of wild if that's what they did.
Right. Yep. And that would make me think too, because Arethi is obviously at the embassy, not
Mm-hmm.
on Team Glenn, and we find
Right.
out like she's working with the Fern. Um.
Right.
So are they both utilizing Tate's blood to create different
That would be
creatures?
wild.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm just like throwing that theory out there in my mind. Like,
That would be wild.
I mean, we'll find out
Oh, wow.
because
Okay.
like Chance is still drinking the Kool-Aid. Um, he's now like ruling over the Tarragon,
hmm
who which we find out translates actually, and they tell him that it translates to little dragon, but they don't like the dragons. They are ready to like, they want to fight.
Right.
They're like, let us go. They're killing our peoples
hmm
or
Our creatures.
fellow creatures. I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know what, they're killing our kind, and they're over it. And
Right.
they don't like
They're
him.
they're all pissed off now.
Yeah, and honestly, like with the way we have Chance, who we know he's trained to be like a commander,
hmm
like pretty much his whole adult life, and even the younger kid life. So with him being so lethal, and then these Tarragon, who we find out they seem very very strong, and
Yeah.
they're not stupid.
No, not by any means.
I mean, quite frankly, like they actually tell him that they knew that they were once something else,
Yeah.
but they can't recall. They know like that they were like a vampire before, but they have no recollection. Like it's almost like they're wiped clean. They just know that they were previously something else.
These are the black seethings. The black, are they black or are they white? The Tarragons.
I don't remember what color they are.
Oh, because I
They're not white
remember.
though. I don't think.
Okay. So I remember the white one said something very similar to Tate. We were
Yeah.
once untish or something like that.
Yeah.
So
What is
I
going on?
somebody said September for her book or spring of 26. Rebecca. How
Look,
dare you do this to us?
we know you can have a life, and we know you're working hard, but God dang it.
Can we live in your brain, please?
Yeah. We just need little hints, little bits.
Right. You can tease us for the next year. It's fine. Oh, goodness. So then, bouncing back to Tate's point of view, she's feeling that pull on the outside perimeter of her palace, and Aether's in there with her. But Aether goes and he sees that it's James and Yuli and the kids and whatnot, and Tate says, "Let them in."
Yeah,
And
she don't care no more. Let them in.
No, and Aether's basically like, more people you have in here, the higher the risk is of you being found.
Yes.
So she's
Yup.
like, I don't care, let them in, we need to help them. Their safe house was raided because they also went to a
the new
safe
one.
house.
Yeah.
So um they're all having a conversation, like all the adults standing there. Yuli's in pretty bad shape.
Yeah, Tate
Like,
ended up having to use her power to
yes.
basically follow her instincts and bring her back.
Yeah, so she's like trying to comfort the kids at first, and she realizes how bad Yuli is. She's like, Vela, stay with the kids. Let me go
Yeah.
heal her. And she does. She's fine. Yuli's fine. Everything's fine.
Everything
Um
fine.
so then they're all having a conversation, and Aether tells Tate, it is an honor to serve you. And I got goosebumps because how powerful of a thing for him to say.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, that just really just, it stuck out to me and I loved it. Like that, and that was an internal, their telepathy talking.
Yes.
Nobody else heard that.
No. No. But then, okay, she also started just like after all this, like she just looks around at the scene and it's like everyone's a mess. They're bloody. Like she just saved Yuli, you know, all this, and she just starts laughing.
Yeah, she's
She
like
just
you.
bursts out laughing. I said, which I kind of loved because I'm that person.
Did you?
Yes.
We're sharing notes here, and she did.
I
love
did,
it.
right?
Because that is very much you. You're very much that person when like everything's very serious. You're like, what's up?
I'm like, let me lighten the mood a little bit.
I love it.
And then we finish off this chapter with finally Tate and Aether finish what they started. They bite each other's lovers' marks. Finally, we replace Chance's lover's mark.
Thank God.
Amen. And there's like, now they can share their power. Like, they're fully bonded. Yes. I'm like, yay.
Finally. God, we've only been waiting 2 books for that.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
She did tell us it was a slow burn with tension. Okay.
Oh, very much so. Very much so. But it's been good. It's been it's not bad. It's not a bad slow burn. It has been, the buildup has been wonderful. It's been great.
Yeah.
And when we finally get there, the sparks fly and it's just like, fuck yeah. Even though it's a terrible time. Terrible timing, but
we're happy.
you know, they could die at any time. Might as well.
Tate heals Yuli and everybody's in the house. They're all standing around. All of a sudden, everybody kneels before her. And Tate is like kind of in awe. Like she's still getting used to this. And she looks over to Aether for guidance.
Sod then. Yeah.
I don't know
me.
what. And he's also kneeling. And in true Tate fashion, she says, I could get used to this. You on your knees. And he basically says, darling, we can make that happen right now.
Yeah, in front of everyone. He's just like, okay, if you want it, I got it.
Right. I'm not playing. Let's go. We got 75 bedrooms in this house. Just pick
For
one.
sure. Or you know what? Whatever. Let's just do it right here. It's good. Okay, yeah,
the kids are there. Come on now. They can go play in the lagoon. Maybe they'll get through the door. So they're all standing around now talking. They're sitting around, whatever they're doing. They're all together, and they're planning out this mission to go to the Glen. And Tate, Aether's saying, no, you're not going. Like, he's all for the mission, but you, Tate, are not going. And James is like, okay, but like, we need her. And he's like, absolutely not. She's off the table. And Tate pulls her first official.
Yep.
I'm the ruler, right? And he says yes, and she says, find a way to do this so that
Yep.
we can go home to Maiden. Because we know the king doesn't
Like a
have
week,
long. Like
yeah.
they're estimating like couple days to a week. Yeah. And then she tells him, and I think this is what hits him right in his feels, is she says Fletch and Irene
Yep.
deserve
And she wants to
justice.
save as many people as she can.
So then he's absolutely. So he's like,
pretty much. He's
okay.
like, what do I say to that? And she's not wrong. Okay, yes,
right.
They say it's a death sentence, but she's not wrong for being like, well, we need to go protect all these people, and as many as we can.
Yeah.
So they definitely come up with a plan to try to go save them, and then she agrees. After that, then they can go to Maiden.
They also, is this where they talk about the prophecy around this time? Okay. So I highlighted the prophecy. You did too. I just typed it out. But the prophecy basically says the air will rise from the ashes, will have survived from annihilation, from the blood of forgotten royalty, bonded with that of darkness, concealed until ready, exposed by the highest death, and raised in a pillar of fire. She will be called home. Her reign shall bring peace and justice to all realms, and evil will be vanquished.
Dun, dun, dun.
So she will rise, right? She will rise from the ashes, which she did. That first blast, basically,
and like
right?
the first book, they like literally burned her. Like they set her on fire.
Oh, that's right. Her initiation, yes. Will have survived from annihilation, like everything she's been through up to this point. From the blood of forgotten royalty, which we now know her mom was the princess of the embassy, and Maiden, bonded with that of darkness. Hello. Aether is literally on the Shadow Tribe. Concealed until ready.
70 years.
So,
hello.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, 50, yes, right? Because she was.
Yeah.
Because she's 20 now. Exposed by the highest death, the king is dying. And raised in a pillar of fire. So we haven't gotten to that yet, have we? Because that's at the end when she's literally raised,
right,
in the pink flames. And then she will be called home, which she is. She's called home at the end of this book. And then her reign shall bring peace and justice to all realms. We obviously haven't gotten there yet because she's not a reigning queen yet.
when you read that, why is Aether so against it? Like me reading it, like this prophecy.
I don't know.
The prophecy sounds like actually a really good prophecy.
Screams, right, and it screams Tate and everything she's been through.
Peace at the end. Like I am not hearing the word death.
Right. Yeah. What bad can come of this?
Rebecca, please don't just go and be like, slide death in on us. At least for our mains. That's all I ask. But
right. I am curious as to why he's not okay with this and why he calls bullshit, because he did. He literally said it's bullshit. And I don't understand why, because nothing of this sounds bad. It says she's exposed by the highest death, but that's not her death. Maybe he thought it was. I don't know, because none of that sounds bad to me.
No, so I mean, unless we're missing something.
No.
Maybe he's just nervous. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't get it. Okay, and then of course back to Chance
at this point he's just completely losing it. He's like,
absolutely.
He liked what he's becoming, and he's worrying Holland. And don't get me wrong, Chance is super protective of Holland and Shay. That has not changed. It's just his control and his power has changed.
Yeah, it's like an addiction. He's getting more, and so he wants more, and it's completely taking over who he is.
Exactly. So for him, he's like, he thought Holland was going to worship him at what he was becoming, and goes on this whole power trip when it's Holland and him. And in my opinion, he was headed down the line of, like, hate to say it, like sexual assault. But then
Yes.
Karen or whatever, he comes in, thank hallelujah, and basically he's like, you need to stop. She said no.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, thank God for him, because that's exactly what he was doing. And
Multiple
because
times.
she asked him to stop, and he kept on. Yeah, and he kept
He's
on.
like,
and
you're
I was
mine.
like,
yeah.
I don't want to read this. Yeah. I struggled as it was starting to go through that. I struggled reading that a lot. And so
Yeah, and mind you, it's like a different, if it's, I
I'm really
understand it's a
glad.
different kind to some people, you know, because they are basically mated. But nope, still no. No means no, guys. No means no.
Right. Right. Yep. Absolutely. So thank God for Karen for coming in and stopping him. And
It's on his power trip. He is at this point gonna go and he's trying to kill Karen, and basically for saving Holland. And so then we get this blue ice blast, and everything he's been saying about Shay has been cold and icy. So it's freaking Shay. Shay goes in there and stops what's happening, and like saves Karen and Holland.
Thank God. Shay is like coming out like at the right time to just
I cannot
come in
wait
and be
to
like,
get more of Shay. I want more of Shay with Tate,
yes,
and that friendship, and then I want to see what that dynamic goes with Vala, because right now Vala is really close to Tate.
Yes.
So I would love to see, you know, them all come together
Right.
and just be like some badass powerhouse of females.
Yes. Oh my God. They could be like her ladies in waiting.
Yeah, there we go.
Like,
yeah,
because she's going to be a queen. So that gave me
Love
goosebumps.
it.
I'm really excited for book 3. Like, diving deeper into this on the podcast here has just made me really, really want
so
book 3.
bad. I'm so excited. It's so good.
That is literally the worst part of ARC reading, is that you get it before it even comes out, and now you really have to wait.
Right.
It's fine.
But then then we flip back, you know, we're back with Tate, and we learn that Bella actually has lost her powers due to the blood oath that she made with Aether, because Jared betrayed them. So with Jared betrayed them, and she's to be bonded to him and to be wed, she ends up losing her powers. And so
basically they're one. So what he does, she does. It's like guilty by association.
And he did the bond like that on purpose, or excuse me, the blood oath like that on purpose.
Which really sucks for Vela, because she has been loyal to Tate this whole time.
Makes me even more mad at Jared.
Yeah, that made me really sad.
But I will say, Tate convinces Aether to remediate that, and basically tries. They do have to use another blood oath to do it. But they do get that flip for Vala. She is still, unfortunately, still kind of like a shell of herself, and I mean, her bond had just betrayed her. But Tate does let her know that she will let Jared in if Vala decides, and that she hopes she gets her answers that she needs. But how do you feel? Okay, so how do you feel about that? Like,
because
Tate basically saying, like, she'll still open her doors for Jared if that's what Bella wants.
I didn't like it because he still betrayed them. Like, he could have gotten them all killed.
Yeah, seriously.
And so I think that Tate saying that speaks volumes of how she feels for Vela, and not so much what she feels for Jared. But I also fear that if she were to let Jared in, Aether's going to take him out.
Yeah, I agree. Not that I disagree with him doing that. I just think it's gonna cause problems for Tate and her friendship, but I don't
Mm-hmm.
disagree because I don't see Jared not still betraying them, because
Right.
it's hard because we know that they do mating ceremonies. We've talked about this in the previous episodes. And so that connection that Tate and Aether have is they explain how rare this is. Where everybody else
Right.
sometimes they're just paired due to their magic, and they might eventually, come to love each other, but it's just not the same. So I'm not sure if Jared wouldn't do it
Right.
again.
Yeah. Reading Things of Fate, I felt like Jared had strong feelings for Vela. But again, we only got what Tate saw. We didn't
Right.
even get Aether's point of view there to know what he saw. So maybe none of
Yeah.
it was real. And Jared, this was
And
always the plan, you
Jared
know?
can't shift, so there could be a lot of jealousy
Right.
at play here too. So we'll find out hopefully
Oh,
in the next
yeah.
book, but we'll see. I want to say,
Yes.
yeah, we don't really get a lot more of Jared past that. We just know that he has betrayed them.
Yeah. Yep. Um, so then we are moving into the
Yep.
the peace meeting, right? With the Glen
Yes.
and the Fern, and Tate decides to get into the journal a little bit more, and she spills her blood on it. And all of a sudden this book is translated,
Yes.
into
Yes.
something she can read. And there's a whole her mom writes her this whole story about how they were coming to kill her, and she had to basically preserve Tate until it was time for her to be
Mm-hmm.
reawakened, I guess you could say, um, to protect her. And that's how she
Yeah.
ended up with Irene. Irene was somebody that Esme trusted and said, "You need to take my daughter, raise her as your own. And then when the time comes, she'll come back to the embassy, Mident, wherever she needs to be to fulfill this prophecy." And so her mom,
Yeah.
talks to her about the prophecy still. And then she also wrote something in there that I really, really loved. And it said, "Let them fear you as they should a
Yeah.
royal." So she's telling Tate, stand your ground and make sure they know who
Yes.
the hell you
And
are.
throughout that letter too, we do find out that we find out a lot about like the shifting and the powers and basically her uneven footing. So we
Mm-hmm.
find out that she cannot shift. There's a blocker blocking that.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes me have a
Yep.
whole new perspective on her dragon, her internal dragon, where she's constantly like, being glared at and everything. And it's probably because the dragon's like, I can't come out.
Right. Like,
Like,
what are
fix
you
this.
bothering
I
me
want to come
for?
out.
Yep. Which we know that until um so there's a whole thing when she was fighting at the beginning where they were not allowed to have shoes
Yes.
on or anything like that. I don't know if that was truly because it was like a holy ground or what. But then her mom says, only the truth of your bare feet upon rightful soil will unlock your ability
Yes.
to fully shift. So she's not going to shift, I think, until
That is
she's
my
home in
guess too,
Mident.
because yeah, she says rightful soil, and they have like she's already been in the embassy,
Mm-hmm.
so it's obviously not that. So
Yep.
the only thing is they keep saying like she needs to go back. We need to take her to Mident. We need to take her to Mident. So it's got to be Mident.
Right.
So like you said, like
Yeah.
we're pretty sure by the end of the book where she gets pulled away that when she wakes up, the king is dead and she's in Mident. We're pretty positive. Like
She's in Mident.
there's nothing official saying
Right.
that, but we're pretty sure that's where it
Yeah.
is.
Based
Yes.
based on our context
So
clues.
we should be getting Tate shifting in the next book. If my
Hopefully.
girl, take
I
your
thought it was
shoe
going to
off,
happen in this book.
step into the dirt,
Right.
and let's see your dragon. Yes.
Get your feet
So
dirty.
super excited. That is also, like you said, they're, we had Chance's point of view where they're headed to the peace treaty with the Glen and the Fern, and that is actually where Tate's plan comes into play, where they split their team and then they're like kind of cutting off the two convoys. Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Tate ends up seeing, like, because she's from afar. She is stepped away.
Yes.
Like, Aether didn't want her right up in front and center. She needed to be in a secure spot. But then she sees Chance and she misunderstands what's happening and straight just like goes running down there. No, like she doesn't realize that like their Chance is different now, and he's now having a standoff between Aether and Vala, and her Vala's dome is failing because Chance is attacking it basically with his newfound powers.
Right. Yeah, this whole battle scene coming up was very intense. It was like go, go, go. There was not a moment from now until the end of the book where you could like stop
there was none.
and breathe.
No oxygen. Okay, so now, if you're here, if you're following along and reading with us, go grab some water, take a break, use the restroom, fill your drink. Because
we're about to knock this out.
It's one after another, and you're on the edge of your seat. Your heart is going to be racing.
Yes.
And we are about to find out, because it starts with Tate taunting Chance. Gotta love my sassy girl Tate.
Yes. This is when she walks up right to Aether, right? And she like starts kissing him. She's all sorry I'm late, you know? And I loved it. It was such a power move.
I was like new. Yeah, and it was working. She was really doing a really good job with the taunting and kind of like jabbing a little bit at Chance.
Yes.
Until like the Tarragon show up and Chance makes a comment. I cannot remember what comment he states, but he states something that basically throws Tate off. And at this point, we know Tate needs to get out. Her taunting's not working anymore.
Yes.
Chance has now gotten inside Tate's head. Not literally, not like Aether, not like the Bond, but he's now mind screwed her, and we need to get Tate away from the situation.
Right. Yeah, and unfortunately she's right in the middle of it. Like she has no idea what's about to happen, and it's not just this peace meeting. There's so much more that's about to happen. She has no idea.
And so then I wrote, "Oh yay, more Chance!" Because Tate has now left. Aether's gone up in dragon and is flying away, and Chance siphons Aenix's graph.
Yes. Which why? Power. You have so much power already.
Like, he is becoming a monster. Like, he's feeding off the power, and he's clearly, like, I don't know if he's ever going to be able to stop. I don't know if Chance, I don't know if he will be able to survive without it. Like, does he even eat anymore?
I don't know.
And then, so along with that, so he siphons all of them, and then we've got a red dragon. And I'm like, who is the red dragon? Arethi?
Yeah.
Oh, this bitch.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, in the, so Aether's now battling the red dragon, which, we find out really quick that it's Arethi. And so, while that's happening, the creatures find Vela and Tate. And the bond is becoming muffled.
Right.
So then, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
The bond between her and
jump
Aether.
Straight to Aether's point of view. And yes, we confirm it's Arethi. And I'm just like, do not kill Aether. Do not kill Tate, or I'm going to be so mad. Like, this is what I mean when we were telling you guys edge of your seat, like heart racing. Like, this is just.
Yeah. Because Aether and Arethi are
Yeah.
fighting midair in dragon
Yes.
form. And there was one point that she comes up and like grabs him. And Tate, like, she doesn't know what's going on because that bond is so muffled.
The ghouls,
Okay.
the white seasons with the wings, also start attacking Aether and basically throws off his game. And this is where Arethi was able to then, like you said, attack. And
Yeah.
oh my gosh. So Chance tries to siphon. So now we're like flip back to Tate, and Chance is trying to siphon Tate, but Tate can feel that Aether's energy stores are like depleting. Like, Aether is going to basically die. So she pours all her energy stores into him, says she loves him. So for one, so that way Chance can't take anything.
And right. Yeah, she gives it all to him, and she knows that Chance is going to take what's left.
How you gonna do that to me? Because then you gotta make me go read more about Chance. And so now I got Chance is flying Tate on his Tarragon to headquarters. And so,
they've captured her now.
So he is still torn between devour and protect Tate. So Chance, you know, the little bit of chance we have like left of a goodness is wanting to protect
Still
her.
wants to protect
and it's like,
her.
He's got all the information wrong. Like, the reason why he keeps like wanting to like call her a traitor and everything is all incorrect.
He doesn't have a clue what's truly going on. He's just listening to what Daddy's saying, and he's so far gone now that he's believing it all. Because remember at the beginning, he tried to fight it. He tried to do right, and his dad just got in. And then he weaseled his way in.
Okay, so he was hit with the dark magic. Holland was hit with the dark magic. And Shay was also hit with the dark magic. But, like, Shay's reaction is, you know, like we found out, is ice and whatever, like, blue ice that she can throw.
Yeah.
I know we don't get her point of view, but I'm pretty sure she's not out here just sucking the life out of things. So.
So why is his so bad?
Couldn't you be fine with your lightning? Wasn't that plenty?
Right.
I mean, you jump to fourth thing, and my girl Violet is like, I am the storm, and then Chance is like, I'm gonna suck the life out of you because it's not enough. Well, for Violet, anyways, and she can kick your booty.
Yeah, right.
Come on,
let's
Rebecca,
see these two go head to head. Oh goodness. So now we have Vela and Tate in headquarters. Both of them captured. Aether is, of course, losing his freaking mind.
Do you remember when she was captured in the last book? Like, what? That was Fletch.
Right.
She was being tortured. He was being tortured.
Right. Yeah, so he's losing his freaking mind because he can't communicate because that bond is still like zapped out right now. And he's not okay. He's just battled it out, and now the love of his life.
He's like, I'm gonna go and save her, and then everyone's like, take a step back. You gotta be smart about this, or you're not gonna be able to save her.
No. And he is literally thinking, like, one track mind, I have to get to her. So thank God for
we know that they're freshly bonded, and we know a lot of fantasy books when mates bond, the attraction is like crazy. I know, and some books they actually lock themselves away together for like a week or two because of how crazy the males get in protection of the female. So we do see a little bit of that.
Sounds like a good time.
So we're like, wait, no, that's not gonna help, because we know that they're being tortured. So they're locked away.
Right. They're trying to get truth out
Yes.
of Tate,
Yes.
get answers out of her. They're actually giving her a truth serum to try to get her to be honest.
Which she is.
And Tate is
President
telling
Dale
them
is
the
asking
truth.
questions, but
Yeah, it's not the truth. Right, it's not the truth he wants to
No.
hear. He wants to hear that what he's doing is the right
Yeah,
thing,
and the
and
reasoning that he turned
it's
into
not.
all this was because of that. And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, she is not the reason. These people. And, look, we
Yeah.
know that Fletch and Irene were working with the embassy. But we also know that they didn't tell Tate anything.
Do you think they would have had they not have died?
I think
Like, that
eventually
was
was
the
where they were going.
plan,
Yes, I
right?
do. So she's already explained everything she knows. She doesn't she doesn't have the answers that he wants. So, whatever, he's not gonna accept it. And then we're gonna jump into Chance's point of view, and we go, yes, more Chance.
Again.
He is in a room with, it's hinting at like there's some, like a chick in his bed. I know he goes and takes a shower, and then Holland ends up coming to his room. And like he says nothing happened, so to me that means maybe like something was going to happen, maybe it hasn't happened yet, but there's no guarantees. And she's just basically like saying like, you need to get help, and he's like, no, I don't need help.
I have a question. Why is he taking a shower in the middle of a freaking battle?
Well, right now, like, the battle itself isn't like going on.
That's right. Okay. So this last part of the book, literally, when I tell you it flew by, I could not turn my pages fast enough because there was so much going on. So Tate and Vela, Tate escapes with the help of Shay and Holland. I think they're starting to see what's right. So they break out. They break her out, sorry. And the first thing she says is, we need to go get Vela. We need to protect her, keep her safe. So they're on their way there. Shay is actually shielding Tate, and that was truly showing her loyalty. And it was with the ice that she has been showing throughout the whole book. That's her shield. And Tate is like breathing this fire out, and this ice is melting, and Shay is just like throwing up more ice. She is like, we're getting out of here alive, and I'm gonna do what I have to do to protect you. So I love seeing Shay. The magic in Shay.
Oh, I just
yes yes, me too. Tate said that the chains of her magic snapped, and the well inside of her began to bubble in waves of undiluted power. So all of her power is coming out. She is no longer empty. Like, she threw all of her power to Aether. She is no longer empty.
Your stores or your well.
Yes. So all of this is going on, and she keeps hearing this voice. And it's saying all kinds of things. It says, daughter, welcome home. It is she who serves from annihilation, the blood of forgotten royalty, the one bonded with darkness, and whose reign will bring peace. Come. Like, she is currently fulfilling this prophecy, and they are saying, finish up and come on home. So that is all going crazy. They try to save Chance, don't they?
Was when them saving Tate and going to go back to Vela, was Holland wanted Tate to agree to try to save Chance, to get through to Chance. And as much as like Tate's like, I mean, I got other stuff to do, like I'll try, I don't think I can get anywhere. She literally says like, I'll try, but like I don't think I'm gonna get anywhere with him. But that's not her priority right now. And so she's like, no, we need to go get Vela, and something's calling to her. She needs to get to Aether. Because we know that Aether's on his way.
Yep.
Because he's gonna try to go rescue, because he doesn't know that she's been broken out. And then we're in this big battle because Chance has lost his mind. He's going crazy. Tate's on the loose now. Aether's coming
Yeah.
down. We've got to see things go crazy.
Yes. One thing I noticed is that Tate's
Yes.
dragon is
Let me
like
out.
fully awake. She is screaming at Tate, let me out, let me out,
Yes, yes.
let me fight for you. And Tate can't.
No,
She
because we
physically
now
cannot
know,
let her out.
yeah.
She has not
Yes.
fulfilled her prophecy. Right. So she's like stressed out about her dragon. She's trying to save Vela. She's trying to save Chance. And all of a sudden, here comes President Dale.
Go away.
Why? God. So through all of this, she's trying to kill President Dale. She is throwing her flames at him. Shay's trying to keep her protected because he is like also throwing his
yes, because
power,
he's very
trying to
strong too.
kill
Like, we do
her.
understand, like, he does have power. That's why he is where he is at.
Right. Yeah, yeah. She ends up scorching him right where he stands into a crater in the ground.
That's my girl.
President Dale is
That's
gone.
my girl. That's my girl.
Right. Before he died, and I highlighted this, I should have said it before. It says, Colin stood again, so President Dale stood again and snarled at me, and then he smiled, revealing black fangs. His bare flesh was completely purple gray with black veins dancing throughout, unnatural. He threw out his hands and pulled the energy from the flames into himself.
Yes.
So he was taking the
Yes.
energy from Tate's flames into himself. Lucky for us, it didn't work.
Nope.
It didn't help him at all.
Which we do know that Chance did try to come and save Dad.
And at the same time that he's trying to protect his dad, Tate's trying to kill his dad, Holland gets in the way.
Oh my gosh. It's like I seen this coming earlier, but at the same time, I'm kind of bummed because Chance, right? Chance is the one who ends up hitting, basically. No. Who hits Holland? Was it Chance or Tate?
I think it was Tate because she was getting pulled toward President Dale, and Tate finally threw that last blast of fire at him.
Like, now Tate and Chance are fighting because, Tate has got into his dad, Colin Dale, and her power ends up ricocheting and hitting Holland. And Chance is devastated.
Yeah, that was his mate, and then his dad, which he still sees nothing wrong with.
Like, by the end, he's completely alone. Tate gets saved. He's about to literally shoot his lightning at Tate, but she's now being pulled away by that voice that says, come home, come here, daughter. So she gets pulled into that, and then Chance is just there, and he's ready for revenge. He's ready to seek revenge. That's why I think he's going to be a really big bad in the next one. So I agree with you. I'll be curious if she still gives us that point of view.
Right. So Tate, like you said, she was lifted up. She said, a gleam of bright white and pink light flashed, and she could see it even behind her eyelids. Instead of feeling the lightning that Chance was throwing at her, every nerve tingled as something new awakened in her. Her inner pool was no longer empty, but full and overwhelming. The world was falling away, and winds snapped around her as she was being lifted. So that is late in the book, okay? And then Chance's point of view, he says, I became no more.
Know. Oh my gosh.
So I thought he died, but I don't think he did.
Soul.
So then so the final chapter, okay,
Yeah.
is Tate's point of view. It says white and more white. So she is, I don't know. I don't know where she's at, but she's there, and she says, my mate Aether with me even in death. So she thinks she's died now. Okay, which white, more white. I can
Right,
see
because
why
she was
she
being
thinks that.
attacked by
But then a
Chance.
voice, and all of
Right.
a sudden she's no longer there. I would have thought the same thing. Um, says, daughter, well done. It is time for you to come home to claim your birthright. And it says, before I could respond, the world filled with pink of every hue, blush, bright pink, neon fuchsia, pale pink. And then my feet touched solid ground and my environment solidified. She then says, slowly I rose, eyes wide and blinking as they adjusted to the lighting. Strange looking people, some with pointed ears, gaped at me. They all wore black and stood around a bed draped with black curtains. The sound of metal on metal filled the air as several guards removed their swords from their sheaths. All eyes were trained on me, even as they advanced. I flinched and lifted my hands in defense. A pink dome enveloped me, and the room pulsed in bright pink. They froze, eyes locked on my shield in power, and then they began madly whispering to one another. It couldn't be, could it? Where have they been keeping her? She's strong. Look at her aura. Is she really a royal? The royal? The lost heir? I shook my head and stepped back, legs hitting a large footboard as large arms reached around me. Panic spiked a moment before his spicy bergamot scent filled my nostrils, salt and ash, rich and old. Aether. So we go through this. She says she sees the people around her. They're elegantly dressed. They have mahogany eyes, locked on a spot above her head, a spot that felt very much alive, burning with power. I stood there dumbfounded. They looked at me in reverence, enough to set my already jumbling nerves further on edge. And then she's talking to Aether, and she says, Aether, and he says, I know. I swallowed. The impossibility of this was too much. Every person in the room, all these Fae and Untishi, not only had mahogany eyes, but they also had pink hair just like mine. I turned to the bed, and my worst fear was made true. There, beneath black silk, lay the king of Mident.
So did she
Dead.
just like show up? Like, did they just pop into his funeral?
I think when he died,
Like pulled her,
that's what that
pulled her there.
the
Okay,
pillar of
okay.
fire, yeah,
Yes.
from the prophecy, and it just automatically took her home.
That makes sense.
Because she's next. She's the only living royal.
Oh. And I'm so happy Aether's there.
So
wait.
They took him too, yes. And I wonder if it's
the
simply because he's her bonded.
though, right? Because that's what they've been waiting.
Right, because he died. That's right. But the prophecy also states bonded with darkness. So it's as if they were taking whoever she bonded with as well, regardless.
Hope so, because I don't want Tay and Aether split.
So,
yes,
that's the end of the book. What were your overall thoughts?
I loved
so pretty.
this book. I loved it. Personally, I did not feel like it started off slow, where I did kind of feel like Fangs of Fate did with the world building. For this one, I felt like we jumped right in, and it was just so good. I didn't want it to end.
I feel the same way. Definitely started right off. We hit the ground running, and we never stopped.
I did not want to put it down. I overall gave it a 4.25. No. Which I mean that's fantastic for me. That's why I love it. So yeah, I'm excited for our next book.
I struggled on what to rate it. Sometimes I'm so enamored by the creativity of these authors that I really want to give it a 5. And that's really what I base it on. It's not the writing or necessarily always the story. It's also plays into it how creative the author was.
Sometimes I even sit on a book and completely change. So like as we're going through and I'm talking about and having so much fun, like it does actually want me to, like I do feel like I want to like tell you guys I gave it a 4.5, 4.75 for me. And as I go
Mm-hmm.
through and I get all the feels and that has that lasting impression on me, like I do sometimes go and edit my not necessarily the review itself, but like I do edit my star ratings. And so again, I'll probably end up watching
Right.
all these episodes and I'll probably like just give it a 10.
That's how I feel. I'm like, the more I've sat on it and the more I've
Yeah.
thought about it and talked with you and
Yes.
the past 2 weeks with Morgan, like this was very good for me. And then I'm also comparing it to book one, which I know is not fair because it was her debut novel.
Yeah,
I
me
thought
too.
Fangs of Fate was very good, but I still rated it a 4. I struggled a lot with the world
Mm-hmm.
building, and it was nothing that she did wrong. That is me in every fantasy novel. You know that I rated Throne of Glass like a
Mm-hmm.
3.75 because I struggled
Yep.
to get through that initial world building. And Throne of Glass is a world renowned series. So
We've been talking like and like for me it's the experience. It's not, yeah, I agree with you, it's not necessarily the
mhm.
writing. I honestly can look past like a spell check error. Not saying that there was any in that. I'm just saying like I can go through and I can
Yeah, I
just
didn't
read
see
the
any.
book and be fine. Like I rate based off my emotion. And I love the heck out of
Yes,
this freaking
absolutely.
book.
Yeah. Rebecca definitely, this could be, and I know it's like her life goal, I'm sure. This could be a very, very well known
Yes.
series. Absolutely.
No,
It has all
I
the potential.
completely agree.
All the
Guys,
potential.
we've got, like we said, you got dragons, you got fae, you got vampires, you got humans, you got a little mix of all of that, and you got monsters. Like, come on.
Right. Yeah. Rebecca
Yeah.
definitely knocked this one out of the
I'm
park.
so excited. Book
I'm
three,
very
like
happy with
obviously
this
we're
one.
getting more fae because she wakes up with the ears. So book three, we're actually gonna get a little more
Yeah.
taste of the Fae side, and I'm like super super stoked for that. I love me. Quite frankly, I love vampires, I love dragons, and I
Yes.
love Fae. So
Yeah. 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 Definitely. Thank you, Rebecca, for allowing us to have an
yes,
early advanced copy of this. We definitely appreciate it, and we love
yes,
being on your team and being able to read this. And we have had such a blast being able to review this and just dive deep into this
yeah. Thank
amazing
you so
world
much.
that
Like
you've
we love
created.
talking about it. We're having a blast reading it together. We're loving being on your team and how interactive you are.
Yes.
Thank you so much for letting us share it with the
Oh
world and
yeah.
be a part of it. And we hope you love the episode.
Yes.
Thanks,
Yeah, we'll catch you
Borbers.
guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.